you did not know you were adopted, or you didn't know?
Right.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. I
And
didn't
so
find
when
out
you,
till like 10, around 10ish, I found out.
and so when you found out, this is when your poor behavior started,
Right.
because you felt what?
Um,
Hurt,
hurt, I
abandoned.
probably, can I trust? Because all along you're building up, your
Wow.
invisible line of
Right.
trust. Like these are my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're coming to say, well, we're not your parents. And then they didn't have any information about my mom. And then when information did start coming around, we would have to go to court. And my mother would never show up. My biological mother would never show up.
So it's interesting.
Wow.
I've done a lot of research at one point about the impact of 0 to 5. And so for 2 years, your first 2 years of life,
Unaccountable.
Right, you're bounced around.
Right. I have no recollection of it.
But
No
your body knows, your brain knows.
Right. But, fast forwarding 7 months ago, like I found out the truth.
Wow.
I found out what happened.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to fast forward.
Well, tell us what you found
Tell
out.
us what happened.
So in June, I watched this program called Closure on Prime Video. African American woman who was raised by a Caucasian family. Did pretty well for herself. Family got her at birth. She had a lot of medical problems, but overcame them. Became a grown woman, put herself to school and everything. Loving family. She wanted to find out where she came from. And she did 23andMe.
Okay.
I was 60 years old, sitting in the middle of my bed watching this program at 11 o'clock at nighttime, and started crying like a baby. I felt like I was 5 years old and somebody took my teddy bear away from me, or my best doll. And I started crying, and those emotions set off like, maybe it's time. It's been time a long time ago, but I always felt, and during the program, the young lady said that she never wanted to dishonor the parents who raised her. And that's what I felt. By me, if I had to go look for my mom, I didn't want to dishonor what they did for me. Like, they raised me,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I felt that when that lady said that all these years. And I went out and looked for my mom. And, I found out years later, I found out 7 months ago, like, why I didn't find her. I've had people who worked for ACS in New York City. There was databases, there was information, but I found out. Anyway, so I watched that program.
Yeah.
And then in my circumference, in my close conference, friends were doing Ancestry. And they were coming and sharing information with me. I just felt that was God saying, it's time. And you know how God is. Sometimes he's just nice and easy and very subtle. And then sometimes it's a hard knock.
Very well.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes he got to shake you up to get you. So I was like, all right. I talked it over with my sponsor. I talked it over with my wife. And I talked it over with God. Like, is it time? I went and did the Ancestry. And I went into the Ancestry app. And one thing led to another. It was very rapid. One person knew somebody from my life that they were friends with, and she was come to find out she was like a second cousin. And with Ancestry, they give you the social media links, and she contacted somebody on my page who she's been friends with, and the lady never even knew. The person that she contacted never even knew I was in foster care. And I've been friends with her for over 20-some years. I've been in her life, in her family life, for decades, but she never knew. I never told her. And she said, hey, somebody called me and said that they think, my friend called me and said that I think you're she thinks you're her cousin. I was like, she said, can I give her your number? I said, sure, no problem. And I still did not disclose that I had did the Ancestry to her. Well, the lady called me. We started talking. She didn't have any information of my siblings. We were trying to figure out, well, how are we related? Is it maternal or paternal? I was like, I don't know. But she said, hey, I got a cousin. We got a cousin, and he can tell you. I said, okay, well, give him my number. He gave me, I got his number. Him and I talked. He's told me, he said, well, I don't know how, but we'll figure it out. Just know that you belong to one of us somehow. Next thing I know, we did a Zoom. He set up a Zoom with maybe 18 other people. And out of the 18 people, one person had all my siblings' information. They said, I have your brother, I got your sister, I got all their information. And she gave me their names and their ages. She said, I don't know what state they live in. So I took those names and I went on social media. Before you know it, July 4th, I was talking to my siblings, talking to my sister. Like, I got a sister who's 69.
Oh, wow. So
I got a brother who's 74. I got another brother who's 62. Then it's me, 61. And then it's one who's 59. These people, half of them live in Milwaukee. I got me a flight, me and my wife. And July 27th, I was sitting in their living room.
that's amazing.
They met me at the airport with 60 dozen of roses. We tore Chicago's airport up. I landed there because there was too much money to fly into Milwaukee because it was such a short period of time.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to them July 4th, July 17th. We might have been on a Zoom call with everybody, all my siblings, all my cousins. And July 27th, I was sitting in their living room. So it was very rapid. But I got that airline and I flew into Chicago. I talked to my nieces, my great nieces, like my sister's grandkids who are like 30, you know.
That's amazing. So
I want to know when you saw them for the first time. What did you feel? Did you know?
Well,
did you actually
I did.
feel like that
Yeah.
brotherly, sisterly
Well,
love?
I got a brother who looked just like me. He lived. I
Yeah.
met him first.
Yeah.
I went to meet him. He lived 3 hours from here. He lives in Binghamton. So I
Yeah.
went to see him. He's 60. He's 1 year older than me, and we shared the same last name. Everybody else shared different names. Me and him shared the same name, and I looked just like him.
so this is all your mom's children.
And this is all my mom's kids, right? All of us. You know, so yep, we're not so tall. We have that wide smile. We have this flat spread nose, the same complexion. And when I met my brother for the first time, I was like, give me my face. Look at you. You're a boy version of me. Amazing. Because I always wanted to know who had my smile, who had these full lips. Because the family that I was raised with, we somewhat looked alike.
Yeah.
And all my life, that's what I kept saying. Oh, we look alike, we look alike. No, I found some people who really look like me.
So has your mother passed?
Yes, she died in 96.
Mm-hmm.
And she died of cancer. When I went to Milwaukee, we went to the memorial site where she's at. And there's sections. So she's not in the ground, she's in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
The section is 2021, the year that I found out about my family.
Wow.
And the year that I went to visit. That's what, we were just talking about spiritual alignment.
Mm-hmm.
The woman who raised me, my mom, so my language changed. I say my mom and my mother. So my mother, who is the one who gave birth, but my mom is the one who raised me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom's name was Julia May. My mother's name was Barbara May.
Wow.
My mother died the same year my best friend from kindergarten was born. My mother, aunts, my mother's grandmother, my great-grandmother, her sisters have a house in the same area I was born and raised in.
Wow.
You know, I was raised in St. Albans, Queens. Like, my cousins still live there to this day, within walking distance of where I used to live. Spiritual alignment from birth.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's an addict. I found that out.
Mm.
My mom was about to have me in a shooting gallery in New York City.
Wow.
Exactly. The ambulance came and got her and took her to the hospital. She never named me because she needed a fix and she left. The hospital named me after her because she went into the hospital with this specific name. She went in with Barbara McLean, but that wasn't her name. She was in a common law relationship with a gentleman who was white, and his name was Charlie McLean. In love, they said that they loved each other. My family gave me the whole history of them. She used his name. They were never married. There's no documentation of it. She used his name when she went into the hospital. So I found all of this information out like 7 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. It's so wow.
It's kind of mind-blowing.
Do you know who your dad is?
I don't. So, you have your birth certificates. The only thing that was on there was my mom. My family, my siblings or my cousin. I have a cousin who's 75. And, so they were 15 when my mom was having me. They were already 15. So they was like, yo, she didn't come home with the baby. What happened to the baby? But my mom told them that my name was Cheryl McLean. And it wasn't, because this might have what she wanted to name me. But the hospital ended up naming me because she ended up leaving.
So she never went back.
Right, she never went back, but probably she couldn't find me because I was probably in the system. And she didn't have a name to go on.
Yeah, I stand corrected. You know who your dad is, but you don't know who your father is.
Yeah, I might know who my dad is, but I don't know who my father is. Yeah, they said his name was Peter, and that was it. They said that he wasn't a nice guy to my mom, and they didn't really care for him. So, and I didn't harp on it. I didn't even care. I got a dad.
Exactly.
I love my father.
You ever watch This Is Us?
Yeah,
This is
right. This is us.
This is
Exactly.
Very
This is,
ironically, that storyline.
and it's so I joke around and say I'm Antoinette Fisher because Antoine Fisher's story is of this as well. And I always loved that movie. And I always, at the end of the movie, I always wanted to know when he opened up that door and everybody was there eating and all the elders and they were loving up on him. How did he begin the relationships? Because they should start making a part 2 to it. Like, how did he start building those relationships as I am? Building my relationships with my siblings, with my nieces. I got an aunt that I love to death that I went to meet. So I've been in the process of meeting my family. This is what recovery has done for me.
Yes.
Because I've been in position. I've been stable for 18 years, right? Somebody could find me. Because when I was using, I was unstable. I was everywhere, but where I needed to be, clean somewhere. But that's how good God is.